Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about getting feedback on your projects. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, how do you verify a medium-sized personal project that you are working on, if that you are working on is the way to go? Do you ask for feedback for your personal projects or just implement it and think this is good is as good as it can get? If you ask for feedback, where do you get it? As most people have no time or patience to go through an entire GitHub project. Well, no, that is very, very true. There is not that many people who are going to go through your project and code base and just look at it for fun. I have disappointed many people where I still haven't found the energy and time to go through a few request projects where I have done some basic checking, but guys, it takes a lot of time to do what VSS and is in essence a code review. And I can promise you this, for any of the professionals who might be watching this, I think that you should be able to identify with when I say that it's fucking near impossible to get developers to do a code review when you without like almost bending their arm. If they get to pick between building something and reading your code, they're gonna pick building something 9 times out of 10. And it is because reading code is you like unless you're well, I'm not gonna say it's boring, but to a lot of developers it's boring when you already know all the things that you need to know. Everybody gets complacent. Everybody. So I'm probably not the best person to ask how to get feedback on your projects because the way that I've always gone through the process of learning how to find good solutions is one part reading up, of course, as most will do, on articles and trying to watch tech talks and like trying out and seeing what type of architectures are out there and solutions that people come up with, and then building a project. Like just literally, like I don't even consider this is because this is kind of something that is very easy to at least I think so. It's easy for a new developer to miss out on the uh, how do I put this? To miss out on the point of all of this, to miss out on where the real learning is going to take place, because most of us, just as if you want someone, if you talk to someone who's going to go and start working out, their first question is going, in many cases, is going to be, how do I optimize my results? The problem is that if your focus is to optimize your results, also that you're just going to confuse yourself and miss out on a very simple truth, and that is that if you want to be truly fit and get into great shape and be like a really really healthy person, it's going to be a journey for you. You're not. It's very almost impossible for you to go from being overweight or skinny or something like that to being some type of fitness guru. You're not going to be able to just watch a few videos and then that's the whole deal. And that sort of like the same thing is true for a programmer, where if you're building something, why do you care if it's just for you? It's a mid-sized product or whatever. Why do you care if it's following all the rules? Because it doesn't really matter. The thing that matters is if it works. That's what matters. There are many, many rules out there, and you're gonna learn them, and that's I think that that's something you shouldn't miss out on. I know that this might not be the most efficient way of becoming a super programmer or a fitness person or whatever you're going to do, but there's so many options for you to do things. You're going to have to try some stuff out and learn from the failures that you're going to meet. I promise you that you're going to do that. And the same thing, if you haven't really thought about that, is what's going on in companies every single day. There is a reason why there's not a company under the sun that doesn't have a shitty system. Practically everybody will, if you ask anybody who works on any digital product anywhere, they will tell you that they have legacy, and that is because there's no blueprint how to say that this is a good product or it's a bad project. There are guidelines and there are definitely things that can be better and worse, but I think that if you are working on your own project, you're probably the person who's going to be the best, most suited to determine if this is going to work for you or not. You can absolutely get people who are really, really experienced and give you insights into specific things and hints and so forth. But I think at the same time you should cut yourself some slack. Be like, make the mistakes. Like really, I could do actually make the mistakes and learn from those mistakes. Because I promise you, you're gonna get to a point where you think that you can reinvent and recreate everything better than everybody else. And when you start getting to that space, you're gonna start doing things. Hopefully, the passion is gonna kick in, and you're gonna make a lot of stuff. Some of the stuff is gonna teach you that, oh, this was kind of useful in some cases, but it wasn't as perfect as that TikTok person said it was. And this stuff was absolute crap. And there's so much learning that just goes through from doing the thing, right? But if you're looking to get feedback on your projects themselves, I will say that I personally believe that the best way to go about that is to, well, it's practically impossible for you to get someone to review it, because as you said, like nobody, like it's an entire project. They're not going to sit and code review for you for free, because most of them are getting paid to do that. So unless you join an open source project or something like that, that's probably not going to happen. But what you can do, which I think is more viable, is to look at what you are doing and compare it to people who have done similar sorts of things, and compare it ideally where if you are working in a real, like a IT project, if you're actually employed as a developer, that's the best thing for you. Because the thing is, that's the environment that is perfect for you to figure out how to do things. This is why I very often, if you watched any of my other videos, claim that the most important investment, like if there's just one thing that you should do as a new developer, it is to get a position at a company which uses, like, work in teams, where you have peers, where you have people working together with you on the same project. Because if you have that, you get all of these things. Like, you get feedback on your process. Because remember, your mid-sized project, unless it's like something radically different, like let's say that, I don't know, at work you do web and your product is in robotics or IoT or something like that, well, then the differences are radical. So there might not be as much overlap as you want to. But in many cases, I mean, a web developer building a mid-sized web project, it's going to be practically the same thing. So if you have a bunch of coworkers and you go to work every single day and you work on this system that does one thing, well, that environment, although you're not building the exact same thing, you're going to learn all of the things that you need in order to determine whether or not your own mid-sized product is a good thing or not. You're not going to need feedback specifically on that sort of that project, because you're a professional. That's basically what you are. You're now in an environment where you will learn how to spot a good practice and a bad practice, regardless of which domain or which type of project that you're dealing with. So what I want you to take away from this is that I am probably the worst person to ask about how to get feedback on your personal projects, because I simply have never been in a situation where I did that consistently. I did it like once or twice with some coworkers who were open to just look things over, and even then, I can tell you right now, they were like, it was like pulling teeth. Most developers do not willingly go into code reviewing for free on their spare time. They're not gonna do that, because it's, for a lot of them, it's a very boring experience. It's hard to get them to just do it when they're actually getting paid to do it. However, if you follow my pattern, or the way that I got to a point where I feel like I kind of know if this is going to work and if it's going to be good or bad, it is by fucking up. Fuck up, like really do it. Like, just go for the thing. And you mean it really, I mean, if you create a project, a startup, from a code base that is absolute shit, who cares? You're now making money from the thing, and then, like, your company has achieved what it is supposed to achieve. So don't get like locked down in this mindset that you need to figure out how to do things in the perfect manner, because it doesn't really matter if it works. And if you're learning from it, you can always give up when it doesn't work, and then learn from those mistakes and then try it again. And before you know it, this is why experience takes time. You can't just do it in one go. You're gonna fuck up, so you start seeing the pattern. And when you start seeing the pattern, you will be able to figure out yourself if this is going to be a good idea or if it's not going to be a good idea. And then you don't need to get feedback on an entire project. You might just need feedback on one idea. And that's where rubber ducking comes into play, where you find some dude or some girl who knows about coding, and you say, hey, I have this idea, can we just look at this tiny little problem, because you know all the other stuff, it's just this thing that you're a little bit unsure about, and then they give you feedback. Then that's the perfect, then you're in the sweet spot. Then you are truly a senior or an experienced developer who, at least from my perspective, you're a professional. Now you've reached the point where you need to be. Have a great day.